MTG Scoundrels, it's in the cardboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Weekly. Today, on the docket, we have Eldrazi Ramp versus Boros Energy, two of the best decks in the format. Looks like Eldrazi Ramp going to 6 and starting with a pregame action. Looks like it's going to be a Devourer of Destiny. There's the Devourer. Looking at the top 4 here. Should be noted, neither player knows what they are playing, though the Devourer of Destiny gives away the start here for the Eldrazi Ramp player. Interesting spot. You have K return, you got a couple different lands, and you have K command. Ooh, exiling the K return, an E Temple and a Cavern, and putting K command on top. Must be a ramp play here. Utopia Sprawl starting out on the forest, naming green. You mostly name green here, so that way you have access to it in the face of a Blood Moon, though putting the Utopia Sprawl on a basic forest changes that up a bit. Of course, Guide of Souls was played. And there's the K command, so that'll exile the guide. This is going to be for 2. That'll make 2 spawns as well. So that lets you ramp into a 7-drop. In this case, the only 7-drop in hand looks like to be that Devourer of Destiny. Igonjo is the land for play here. We're at 20 to 18. Passing the turn, making the 7-drop a little bit worse. There's a Wooded Foothills. Looks like gonna pass. End step Phelia. Arid Mesa, that's gonna get cracked. Finding a Plains. And then trying to cast a Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay, so clear mistake. Both players are kind of realizing it. Once again, in an RCQ setting, call a judge. So got the Sacred Foundry instead. That'll bring us to 20 to 15. Seasoned Pyromancer trigger. Bidding 2. Making 2 dudes. Phelia gonna flicker the Seasoned Pyromancer. Getting in for 2, bringing us to 18 to 15. Seasoned Pyromancer comes back. On the end step, cracking the Wooded Foothills. Finding the Commercial District. Second Seasoned Pyromancer trigger, resolving. Phelia with Seasoned Pyromancer does really let you churn through your deck. And now it's a matter of what is the ramp player going to ramp into. Keeping it on top. There's a land. 8 mana possibly here. Looks like it was a K command. This is a tough position. Unfortunately, you're in a spot where you could K command exile something, make 6 dudes, but you don't have enough to double spell here. So instead, Devourer of Destiny, I'm going to exile the Failure. And passing. There is an odd world where maybe use the K command to exile Philia, keep your dudes, and scry draw. As we see the Windswept Heath getting cracked here. This is going to be another Sacred Foundry? Looks like it is. Enough stuff in the bin to be able to... yeah, cast Phlage. Sacking in response, although there's no life gain. There's a K command. That's going to exile the Phlage. Making 4 dudes. There's a Wooded Foothills. That's going to get cracked. Finding a forest. This is a spot where you kind of wish you had the K return. But, you know, you go into a matchup blind. So there's 1 and a green. There's a Malevolent Rumble. Making another dude. There's a Sowing Mycospawn. That's a little unlucky. Ajani Nakatl Pariah. And another Ajani. That will flip Ajani here. Yeah, there's the backside. So you have 7 creatures. Down tick Ajani, or 0, excuse me. Oh, no, those spawns should still be there. Taking out the Devourer of Destiny. Attacking in. Ah, there must have been an assumption that the Ajani just kills everything. Nope. Only a single target. So taking 5, going to 11. That'll bring us to 11 to 12. There is a kicked Sowing Mycospawn. Exiling a Sacred Foundry. Finding a temple. And another kick sowing Mycospawn. That might have been a mistake. The board presence from the Boros player here is probably enough to get the job done. Finding a Sanctum of Ugin off that sowing Mycospawn. That's a tough position. Ultimately, with K return not being in the yard, you don't have a ton of options. Passing. Flooded Strand for turn. Well, I mean, there is a lethal line here. Thraben Charm. That's going to kill a Mycospawn. And Ajani's going to 0, make another one. Deal damage to the Eldrazi Ramp player, and then probably attacking with everything, so scooping it up from there. Game 1 going to Boros Energy. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you're enjoying our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. We are on the march to 500 and 1,000. So definitely subscribe to the channel for more modern content during this Modern RCQ season, and modern content for the entire year. Sideboard wise, you're going to see the Eldrazi Ramp player probably keep it pretty clean. If they add anything, it's maybe an extra K return. Boros Energy player is going to bring in some land hate of sorts. And really not too much else here. Moving into our sponsors, definitely check out our friends over at Arcane Artistry. They make wonderful food, clue, and treasure tokens in the stained glass style. Definitely check them out. You put them together, they make a panorama. And on top of that, they have been recently featured on EDH Hijinks, as well as the Spike Feeders. So definitely check out their stuff. Etsy link in the description below. And of course, check out hosts of our channel, Warden Games, a wonderful place to store mount. Their link to their storefront and their TCG player link are in the description. And also check out our friend Sean Gerard, wonderful artist, made the logo for this channel, as well as our recent new art on our monologue series, so definitely check that out. That last video went up on Friday, April 25th. So definitely give that a look. And reach out to Sean Gerard if you're interested in some new art, specifically open to new projects. We love their stuff. Definitely check it out. QR code on screen and also email in the description below. And definitely check out our socials. We are at MTG Scoundrels on Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter. Yes, we're still calling it Twitter. Follow us there for latest updates as well as banter. And definitely subscribe to our channel, as we are on the march to our next marks. We just recently hit 310. Thank you so much for that. Alright, looks like we are looking at hands for game 2 here. Eldrazi Ramp going to go to 6, it looks like. Boros Energy keeping 7. The more you look at the format, the more it's really amazing how much the Temur Breach decks were in fact holding back Boros Energy. They are now the most prevalent deck in the format. Heck, just this last week they had a challenge where they were 8 of the top 10 decks. So the rest of the format has to figure out how they're going to deal with it. Eldrazi Ramp going to go to 6 here. Starting with an E-Temple and passing. There's a Windswept Heath that's going to get cracked. Finding a Sacred Foundry. And this list playing Ragavan. Man, talk about the card everybody thought was one of the most insane one-drops of all time. Now seeing a little bit more play. Looks like Emrakul's going to end up under the Ugin's Labyrinth. And going to play Talisman of Impulse and pass. But Modern Horizons 3 really pushed Ragavan out of the format. Ragavan getting in for 2 here. Going to exile a Karn, the Great Creator, and make a treasure. Wonderful tokens from Arcane Artistry there. Here is a Guide of Souls as the follow-up. Flooded Strand is going to get cracked. This time finding a Plains. And there's the Ocelot Pride. That'll gain a life. And on end step, Ocelot Pride will trigger. Making a cat, getting another life. And that'll bring us to 1818. Turns out Ocelot Pride is a messed up magic card. Shifting Woodlands as the land for turn. Looks like Talisman of Impulse going to be cracked for a red. And K-Return will in fact wipe the board clean. Passing from there. There's a Guide of Souls. And an Ajani Nakatl Pariah. I'll gain 2 more life. That brings us to 17 to 20. There's 4 energy on the board for the Boros player. So at this point, it's a matter of, can the Eldrazi Ramp player find a 7-drop to trigger this K-Return? There's a Karn the Great Creator. Interesting decision on what to go grab. You can't really just plus your Karn here. Ah. Well, that kind of gives it away. So, Karn's going to tick down. Find a pithing needle. And name the backside of Ajani. So, Ajani Nakatl Avenger will be named here. Which kind of slows down some of that plan. Not your favorite thing to play, but not terrible into this board either. There's a Galvanic Discharge that's going to deal, well, looks like just dealing 1 damage. And make a bunch of energy. Going to combat. Pumping the Guide of Souls. The 2/1 cat's going to kill the Karn. And 4 damage coming in, bringing us to 13 to 20. Looks like land Karn Utopia Sprawl here. Stomping Ground coming in untapped. Shifting Woodland being tapped here. Attaching a Utopia Sprawl to the Stomping Ground. Still ending up only having 2 mana up. But that's another Karn the Grey Creator. That's going to get minused. And there is an Ensnaring Bridge. So now is the question, can you survive? Land the Ensnaring Bridge and hope to not see a static prison. Boros player in full control for the most part here. There is a Ragavan, which is going to get haste off an Exerted Arena of Glory instead of it being dashed. Which will gain a life. Trigger. Putting 2 counters on the Ragavan. So Guide of Soul's going to attack the Karn. Ragavan trigger. That's just a Wooded Foothills that's going to get exiled. That's a great thing for the Eldrazi Ramp player when you're trying to search for answers. And we are at 4 to 21. That's just a bridge in hand. Drew another land. Well, play the land. There is Ensnaring Bridge. 0 cards in hand. So it'll take exactly Static Prison. And there is the Static Prison. Unfortunate, but you played your outs. And that'll be game, set, match going to Boros Energy over Eldrazi Ramp. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.